Welcome back to the All Sorts podcast. Ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Today, we're diving into a recipe
Okay.
that's more than just a meal. It's a journey.
Ooh, I like that.
It's vegetable biryani,
Yes.
a dish that just pulses with the heart and soul of India.
It really does.
It really does. So,
You know what's fascinating about this particular recipe?
mhm.
Is that it's from delish.com, and it was inspired by Madhur Jaffrey.
I've heard of her.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't she known for like really authentic, vibrant flavors?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She's a culinary legend
Wow.
who has done so much to bring Indian cooking to the rest of the world.
Yeah, and what's interesting here is how this recipe takes a traditional dish,
Yes.
often made with meat,
Right.
and reimagines it with a spotlight on roasted vegetables.
It does. And it's like a tapestry of colors and textures,
Ooh.
all woven together with those incredible Indian spices.
Okay, I am officially intrigued.
Good.
So where do we even begin with a dish as layered literally and figuratively as biryani?
Well, before we dive into the specifics of this recipe, I think it's worth taking a step back to appreciate biryani's place in history.
Okay.
This dish has roots that run deep, intertwining with the culinary traditions of both India and Pakistan.
Oh, wow. So it's more than just a recipe. It's a cultural touchstone.
It really is. It's a dish that's been passed down through generations with countless regional variations reflecting the diverse flavors and ingredients of the Indian subcontinent.
So every family probably has their own special twist on it.
Precisely. And that's what makes it so exciting.
Yeah.
While the specifics might change, the essence of biryani remains consistent. Fragrant rice, a symphony of spices, and often but not always meat or eggs.
So this recipe we're looking at with its focus on vegetables is kind of like a modern take on a classic.
You could say that.
Okay.
It speaks to the adaptability of biryani, how it can evolve and incorporate new ideas while still honoring its rich heritage.
Okay, so enough history for now.
All right,
Let's get to the good stuff.
let's do it.
What makes this particular delish recipe so special?
Well, first off, the choice of vegetables is key.
Yeah.
They've selected hearty vegetables like cauliflower, potatoes, carrots.
Yeah.
They can hold their shape during roasting and bring their own unique flavors to the party.
And so it's not just about throwing any veggies in there.
Not at all. The selection is intentional,
Okay.
creating a balance of textures and tastes that complement the spices.
Speaking of spices, the recipe calls for quite a medley.
It does. We've got cardamom cloves, cinnamon, those warm aromatic spices that instantly transport you to an Indian kitchen.
Yes.
Then there's garam masala, a blend that's like the heart and soul of many Indian dishes.
Garam masala. I've heard of it, but what exactly is it?
It's a magical mix of ground spices, and the exact blend can vary,
Okay.
depending on the region and the cook's personal touch.
Right.
But it usually includes things like cumin, coriander, peppercorns, cardamom, and cinnamon all toasted and ground to create this complex, intensely aromatic powder.
So it's like a secret weapon for adding depth of flavor.
Exactly. And in this recipe, it's combined with turmeric for that beautiful golden hue, and cumin for its earthy notes, and there's even a touch of cayenne for those who like a little heat.
Okay, my taste buds are officially tingling.
Good.
But before we get carried away with the spices,
Okay.
let's talk about the foundation of any good biryani. The rice.
The rice?
This recipe calls for soaking and par-cooking the rice before it's layered with the vegetables.
Yes.
That seems like a crucial step.
It is. It's a crucial step in achieving that fluffy, separate texture that's a hallmark of a well-made biryani.
I've always wondered why that's done. It seems like extra work, but I guess it makes sense if it results in perfect rice.
It absolutely does. Each grain gets a chance to plump up and absorb water, ensuring even cooking and a delightful texture.
Okay.
And speaking of texture, the recipe really emphasizes that contrast between the fluffy rice and the tender yet firm roasted vegetables.
Yeah, I can already imagine those caramelized edges on the veggies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That caramelization is key.
Yeah.
It brings out the natural sweetness of the vegetables and adds another layer of complexity to the flavor profile.
I see.
And, this attention to detail, to layering both flavors and textures is really what sets this recipe apart.
So it's about more than just following a list of ingredients.
It
It's
is.
about understanding the why behind each step.
Precisely. And that's where the true artistry of cooking comes in.
This is already sounding so delicious.
I know.
It's so much more interesting than just your average weeknight dinner.
It really is.
I can't wait to hear what comes next in this biryani adventure.
Oh, me too.
Me too.
The adventure continues.
Okay.
So now that we've got our beautifully cooked rice and our caramelized vegetables, it's time to bring them together in a way that's as artful as it is delicious.
I'm guessing this is where the layering comes in. right?
Exactly.
That seems to be a defining characteristic of biryani.
It's not just about mixing everything together. It's about creating distinct layers of flavor and aroma that build upon each other.
Okay, so walk me through it. How does this layering magic happen?
Okay, so imagine this. A pot, its base, adorned with a layer of fragrant rice, fluffy, and inviting on top of that, we gently spread those jewel-toned roasted vegetables, still glistening with their caramelized goodness.
Okay, I can already picture it, and it's making me hungry.
And then, as if painting a masterpiece, we repeat the process, alternating layers of rice and vegetables until the pot is brimming with a symphony of textures and colors.
It's like building an edible skyscraper of flavor.
That's a great way to put it. And, you know, this layering technique isn't just for show.
How?
It serves a very practical purpose as well.
You can.
By layering the rice and vegetables, we ensure that everything cooks evenly during the final steaming process.
Okay.
The aromas from the spices infuse each layer, and the flavors meld together harmoniously.
So it's both form and function, beauty and brains. I love it.
Exactly. And then comes the pièce de résistance, the crowning glory of this culinary masterpiece.
Drum roll, please.
Saffron milk.
Saffron milk. Now that's an ingredient I wouldn't have expected. Tell me more.
Saffron, that precious spice with its golden hue and intoxicating aroma, is infused into warm milk, creating a luxurious elixir that's drizzled over the layered biryani just before the final steaming.
So it's not just about the taste, but also the scent.
Absolutely. The saffron milk adds a delicate sweetness, a subtle floral fragrance, and that touch of opulence that elevates the biryani to a whole new level.
I'm starting to understand why this dish is considered so special. It's like every element has been carefully chosen and crafted to create a truly sensory experience.
You've hit the nail on the head. And just when you think it can't get any better, we add the final flourish, a scattering of garnishes that add textural contrast and bursts of flavor.
Okay, now you've got to give me some examples. What kind of garnishes are we talking about?
Think crunchy cashews, plump golden raisins, or even jewel-like chopped apricots for a touch of sweetness and tartness. And then for a refreshing counterpoint, a sprinkle of fresh mint, its bright aroma awakening the palate.
Wow, so it's not just about the main components, the rice, the vegetables, the spices. It's about all these little details that come together to create a truly unforgettable dish.
And that's what makes Indian cooking so captivating. It's an intricate dance of flavors, textures, and aromas, all orchestrated to create a symphony for the senses.
I'm sold. I am absolutely making this biryani. But before I rush to the kitchen, I have a practical question. Can this be made ahead of time, or does this have to be assembled and cooked right before serving?
That's a great question. And the beauty of this dish is that it actually benefits from a little bit of time for the flavors to meld. You can absolutely assemble it ahead of time, even a day in advance, and let it rest in the refrigerator. In fact, many would argue that the flavors intensify and become even more harmonious with a little bit of time.
That's music to my ears. I love recipes that can be prepped in advance, especially when entertaining. It takes so much pressure off.
Exactly. And speaking of entertaining, let's talk about how to present this masterpiece. After all, a dish this special deserves to be showcased.
Okay, I'm all ears. How does one serve biryani with the flair it deserves?
Well, you have a couple options. You can keep it classic and serve it straight from the pot, allowing everyone to dig in family style. That creates a warm and inviting atmosphere perfect for casual gatherings.
That sounds lovely. What's the other option?
If you're feeling a bit more elaborate, you can arrange the biryani beautifully on a platter. Picture this fluffy mounds of saffron-infused rice interspersed with those vibrant roasted vegetables, all adorned with those glistening garnishes we talked about.
Oh, that sounds stunning, like a work of art.
Exactly. It's a feast for the eyes as well as the palate.
I'm starting to think I need to up my serving game in general.
Well, you know what they say, presentation is everything.
It really is.
But of course, even the most beautiful presentation needs a delicious accompaniment.
Ah, yes, the sidekicks. What pairs well with this flavor-packed biryani?
A classic and always refreshing choice is raita.
Raita, remind me what that is again.
It's a cooling yogurt-based condiment that's often flavored with cucumber mint and a touch of spice.
Okay, now I remember I've had that before, and it's delicious. So refreshing and tangy. It makes sense that it would complement the richness of the biryani.
Exactly. It's that perfect contrast that helps balance the flavors and cleanse the palate.
This is all making me incredibly hungry.
Yeah.
I'm mentally planning my grocery list as we speak.
Yeah.
But before I get too carried away, I have one more practical question. Storage and reheating. How does this biryani hold up over time?
Another excellent question. Biryani is actually a dream when it comes to leftovers. You can store it in an airtight container in the refrigerator for up to 5 days.
5 days. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So it's perfect for meal prep or for enjoying those delicious leftovers throughout the week.
Exactly. And reheating is a breeze. You can pop a portion in the microwave for a quick fix or warm it up gently in a non-stick skillet over low heat for a more even heating.
This has been such an enlightening deep dive. We've explored the history, the ingredients, the techniques, the presentation, and even the leftovers. I feel like I have a whole new appreciation for this dish.
And that's what we love about these deep dives, taking something seemingly familiar and uncovering the layers of history, culture, and culinary artistry that lie beneath the surface. But we're not done yet. There's one more essential element to this biryani journey.
Oh, I'm intrigued. What else is there to discover? Well, I'm intrigued. What else is there to discover?
It's the journey itself, the exploration of flavors, and the connection to a rich culinary heritage.
So it's more than just a recipe. It's an experience.
Precisely. And that's what we hope you take away from this deep dive, an invitation to explore the world of Indian cuisine, to embrace the art of layering flavors, and to create a culinary adventure in your own kitchen.
This has been such a fascinating journey.
Yeah.
I feel like I've learned so much more than just how to make a delicious vegetable biryani.
And that's the beauty of food. It's a window into different cultures, a way to connect with history, and a source of endless creativity.
So what does this all mean for our listeners? What's the takeaway message we want them to carry with them?
It's simple, really. Don't be afraid to experiment in the kitchen, to explore new flavors, and to embrace the joy of cooking.
Yeah. This vegetable biryani recipe is a starting point, a foundation upon which you can build your own culinary masterpiece.
Let your imagination run wild. Add your own personal touch and create a biryani that reflects your unique taste and style.
And remember, the heart of this dish lies in the layering of flavors, the interplay of textures, and the symphony of aromas.
So take your time, savor each step, and let the process itself be a journey of discovery.
This deep dive has been a true feast for the senses, and I hope it's inspired our listeners to embark on their own culinary adventures.
And who knows, maybe they'll discover a hidden talent for creating their own signature biryani.
Now, before we wrap up this flavorful journey, I have a question for you, dear listener.
Imagine yourself wandering through a bustling Indian spice market. The air is thick with the intoxicating scents of cardamom, cinnamon, and cloves.
Picture vibrant mounds of turmeric, cumin, and garam masala, each spice a story waiting to be told.
As you gather these treasures, think about the countless variations of biryani that exist across India and Pakistan.
Each region, each family has its own unique interpretation of this beloved dish.
So here's the question. What story will your vegetable biryani tell?
What unique blend of flavors and textures will you create? What personal touch will you add to make it your own?
The journey of biryani is a tapestry woven with history, culture, and culinary creativity.
And you, dear listener, have the power to add your own vibrant thread to this ever-evolving story.
So go forth, experiment, explore, and let your taste buds be your guide.
And as you embark on your own biryani adventure, remember to like, share, and subscribe to the All Sorts podcast on YouTube.
We've got a treasure trove of episodes waiting for you, covering everything from history and science to art and culture.
And don't forget to check out our other episodes wherever you get your podcasts.
We're on X, Instagram, and Threads too, so come say hi and let us know what you're cooking up.
Until our next deep dive, may your kitchens be filled with the aroma of adventure and the joy of discovery.
Remember, the world is a fascinating place, and there's always something new to learn, something delicious to create, and a story waiting to be told.
From the All Sorts podcast, we bid you adieu and invite you to join us again soon for another journey into the realm of the extraordinary Sivo. Keep those taste buds tingling and those minds curious.